Hello viewers, today I'm going to be showing off some of the differences between my Cisco 8845 MPP firmware phone and my Cisco 8845 Enterprise phone. So as you can see, and I do have an update, I was able to get backgrounds onto these phones. I will make a video detailing that later, but so right now, as you can see, these are on their idle screen. First, I want to go through the home screen. Let's go over selecting a line. So you want to make a phone call. So how you'd select a line on this without picking it up is you would cycle through with this key right with your nav buttons. If you pressed a button, it would pick up a line. Whereas on here, I can't get multiple lines to register on this. For some reason, you would select the line here, and then if you wanted to place a call, you either hit the new call, or you'd hit that, or you'd pick up the handset, or press speaker. I can demonstrate that on this. So let's say we're on this, and I want to make a call out of 9970. So to make a new call, I'd either hit this button up here, or I'd hit new call, or I'd hit speaker. Another difference is the options on the home screen. Not all of these work on here. Most of these work on here. Depends on if I have the feature codes properly configured in the web config panel. That's also something different. This one, you can configure a lot from the web configuration panel. Actually, I think you can configure pretty much all the settings on the phone from the web configuration panel. This one has to be entirely provisioned with TFTP. There might be an HTTP option to pull down. I haven't gotten that working, but evidently that is an option. So this one relies heavily on TFTP. This one does not. But it can be provisioned that way or whatever, because I've seen these provisioned with WebEx or whatever, and they have a provisioning server. Anyway, another difference. Well, let's go through the options on here. You have new call, which picks up the phone. Forward all does not work. Redial, which obviously redials. This does not work. This does not work. Self view just shows you your camera. Pickup does not work. Group pickup does not work, I don't think. I haven't tried it, and other pickup doesn't work. Meet me does not work, I don't think, and report quality does not work. I don't have those set up, and I don't know how to get those set up properly. Another thing, BLFs. I have not gotten BLFs to work on any of these. Now, something that is nice about these is you can program speed keys by just pressing and holding, and you can define your favorites. This one, you can do that, but you have to turn on the setting and stuff. It's not on by default. This one, you have, redial, recents, which shows your recent calls. Forward your calls. Do not disturb. Call return, which dials *69. Pickup, which in this case I think dials **, and then it prefixes it with **. Group pickup, I don't think I've gotten that working. Unpark, which I think is just *85, and self view, which just shows the camera. Now, let's go into the setting. So first of all, let's go into the directories. And immediately you'll notice something. Directories do not work on this. This has to pull all of its directories down from the TFTP server, whereas this one, you can set up your contacts on the phone itself. I'm not going to pull that up because it does. All right, what about voicemail?
You have no messages. Press 2 to change.
Now on this one, On this one, if you press voicemail, it'll just dial voicemail. However, with these, it wants to bring up like an applet to modify voice, to view voicemail, kind of like how on the Digium phones, there's a voicemail applet that you can view voicemail and navigate through it without having to use the IVR. However, on this, it doesn't work. So you just have to dial star 97 to access voicemail. Or you could program a speed key. Another difference, pressing pound won't end the call. This works kind of. The transfer works. Transfer doesn't work, and conference doesn't work either. To transfer, you just have to hit pound, let the system take care of it. So let's go into the applications menu on these. As you can see, there's already some pretty big differences. So on here, it's in a tile layout, kind of similar to how it is on this. And on this, it's in a list layout. And also on here, you have much more options because you can configure a lot more from the phone. This, you can only really configure if you so you have your settings, which you can configure your wallpaper. And by the way, wallpaper, if you want custom wallpaper, it has to be downloaded from the server. Ringtones, this only has Sunrise, Chirp 1, and Chirp 2 on it. It's the same. It's basically a similar story across all the Cisco enterprise phones. They don't have many ringtones on them themselves. They pull a lot of it from the server. Display brightness, video settings. So you can adjust your bandwidth, exposure. This is something for CUCM, like with Jabber. Font size, phone name, which really doesn't do anything because it doesn't change the host name or anything. Call notifications, I think you can like block calls and stuff or silence calls. Headset side tone and barge alert. I don't know what barge alert is. Your accessibility settings, you can set voice feedback, which is the same on both of these. Bluetooth settings, same thing on these. Your phone information. So this just tells you like the IP address, the model number, the host name, the active load, last upgrade, active server, standby server. So as you can see, that's just my asterisk server. Things like that. Accessories, if you had accessories, they would come up here. So like on this, for example, if I go into accessories, you can see Cisco Unified Camera comes up in the accessories list. But this doesn't have any accessories. Running applications would be if like I had Java applications on this phone. Admin settings is where you have some control over the phone, but not much. So you can set your network settings, your IPv4 settings, things like that, and release your DHCP address to get a new one. Let's go back. IPv6 setup, things like that. Sorry, this is a little boring. Security setup, you can view your trust list. So in this case, this is the certificate that I generated, and just using the .itl file .tlv 802.1x, which I don't have set up on this network. And then status, you can view your status messages, network statistics, and call statistics. So this is for your last call. You have all your stuff there, your network stuff, and then reset settings, which can reset the phone entirely. And that's about it on this. On this, you have much more control. That's not what I wanted. So you have your accessibility settings, which are pretty much the same. Recents, which shows your recent calls. Speed dials, you can modify your speed dials. This, you'd have to set those speed dials up in the, if it was on a CUCM, you'd have to set that up in the self-service portal. Call preferences, or user preferences, so your ringtone, all the ringtones are on this locally. Attendant console preferences, screen preferences. This doesn't have much, by the way. So you could set a bunch of different settings, which these you cannot set on this phone. All you can set is like the brightness, and that's it. Everything is configured, like the timeout and everything, that's all configured with the config file. Audio preferences, call preferences, things like that. So you can set some feature codes. Bluetooth, which is the same network config. You have a little bit more settings here, like you can turn on your web server. That has to be configured with on this. That has to be configured on the config file end. Device admin, set password, date, time. Again, things that have to be configured for the most part on your config file. You can set your video status. This just shows all the phone status and everything. But those are the menus. Now let's show off the call interface. So when you pick up the phone, on both of them, you get this dialog, new call. However, as you can see on this one, two lights light up. So you have your line and then you have your call appearance. Whereas on this, you just have your line that comes up. And then your call appearances kind of stack. I'll demonstrate that. It's the same thing that it does on this. So, incoming calls. You have your active line and your call appearance. And video won't work because this has to be originating the video, and also for some reason the video getting sent back to this, it doesn't like. However, if I do use video from this, it's fine. So in-call options, well, first let's look at this. So on this, your calls stack up like this. So if I got another call on this phone, as you can see, and it just had to fit with the voice, with the video, but as you can see I get video, but let me show call list. So as you can see, they come up in a list like this, and you go up and down, you can select your resume, whatever. However, on this, when you get multiple calls, as you can see, it appears in this. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. They stack up here instead of in that kind of dialogue. So they kind of do it differently on either one. You'll notice this in some other areas on the phone too. And hold still has problems on these, I guess. It does the same thing. I think it has to do with the video, honestly, because I don't think it does it on my 8851. But calls stack up here and not just on a list on the screen. Another difference, when these keys are not programmed, they're just dead. When these keys are, these are all new call things, except for the resets. Trying to think of any other things to show. Ring cadence. The ring cadence on this is much shorter than the ring cadence on this. This one is much more of a standard North American ring. This one is not. In fact, it uses the same ring cadence as the Mitel 5360. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to dial. So as you can hear, it's much shorter. But if I dial this one, it's a much longer ring. Missed calls also appear differently, so you have that versus that. Well, you still have it appear on the line, but and also your line selection looks different. As you can see here, it only just show mine just this one just highlights the icon, whereas this would highlight the entire. If this one isn't the best, but this one would highlight. This one would, it highlights the entire bar. Funny thing about my 8851, I think it is, you can see burn-in from the previous person and can see that like kind of their line information, which is kind of funny. I'm trying to think of what else to show on this. Video does work, it's just a bit finicky. Let's show the web interfaces. So I have the CS tablet here. I'm gonna get this guy's IP address. I'm gonna pause the video. So as you can see with this web interface for this phone, it's just the standard Cisco Enterprise web interface. You can only really view things on here. You cannot change things. You know, like service mode, on-premise, and all that. Whereas with this, you can configure a bunch more. So let me see if I can change it to that. The CS won't let me view that page, so... But trust me, you have much more config options with this than you do with that on the web page. I'm trying to think of anything else to talk about. Backgrounds on this, you just simply on the web page provided as URL. Whereas with this, you provide it, you have to actually put the file in your TFTP server. You have to make sure it's sized correctly. I'll show that off at some other time. But yeah, it's a much different process for this than it is on this one. Audio quality is about the same. The only thing is you just have to make sure that you enable G722 on these in the config file, because this is, I think, just has it by default, but this one does not. And so you have to tell it to enable G722, which is, I think, the high quality codec. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. I can't think of anything else. So anyway, if you like this video, leave a comment down below. Or if you like this video, give it a like. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. I may eventually show off how to put firmware, or put the pictures onto this guy, or to upload backgrounds. It's a process. So anyway, that's all I have for this video. Sorry about my content recently. It's kind of been a bit boring because it's mostly just been this, but this is what I've been doing for the past few. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching and have a good day.